Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. The digital mine mock-up that is being built beneath the School of Mining Engineering at Wits University is expected to provide modern communication underground that could save lives. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
Now, the first question I have is, what is a digital or a safe mine, as it's been referred to?
Yeah, the digital mine they see as a mine that should be introduced fast. They see this as an interim stage. They see this as getting that satellite technology into the underground. They see this as facilitating communication, bringing the 21st century into this so that people can use the internet, etc., in these underground mines, so that there can be a control room on the surface doing a lot more directing of people underground, making sure that they stay out of vulnerable areas, telling them, turn around now, you're going into a dangerous area, and also producing a much bigger product flow out of the mine. So by starting with safety, you actually do a lot more for the business, because you can then cut those danger costs and also make sure that the product coming out of there is optimized.
What is the main aim of a digital mine, and how deep could these technologies go?
Well, they deliberately wanting to go to depth. This is the whole idea, because our mines are going deeper and deeper. Our biggest advantage is becoming our biggest disadvantage, because we've got these fantastic ore bodies that go for hundreds of kilometers, but as they go on, they go deeper and deeper and deeper. So this is all designed to make sure that what happens on surface can happen underground. And the technologies that you use on surface can be used underground, and they need to be facilitated. And so that is why they're trying to bring the satellite technology deep into the mine, irrespective of depth, so that you can create situations that are productive as the big open cast mines are. They want these to be productive in the underground space.
Tell us about the School of Mining's living laboratory.
Yeah, it was interesting because they use every bit of space, and and as we went from the top floors down, they would have the signals coming through from roof to floor, and this they had to use something that was quite open, so they used the stairwell. And so as you pass along the stairwell, as these students go up and down the stairs, they can see all the parts of a shaft structure, the steel structure of a shaft, with all the names of the various parts of the shaft on it. So you're sort of learning every day, and at the same time you're giving space to the signaling that they're trying to assess the impact of its vertical path. So they need the vertical path of these signals to actually be unobstructed by the steel structures, or to see to what extent they're impacted by these steel structures as they are beamed down, because apparently steel has quite a negative impact on some of these signals, and there's a lot of steel underground. They're actually putting much more into this tunnel that they've got, which was quite realistic. You suddenly go from the lecture room down into what seems like you're going into the bowels of the earth, and suddenly you get into this tunnel that looks very reminiscent of a mining tunnel. I mean, even the rock is actually genuine. It's genuine rock that's been put on there from mining situations, and it's particularly long tunnel, so that they can get the communication right and make sure that whatever happens in there, which has more steel and is got a length, will be perfected to a point where you can lower the cost of this big communication job that you've got, using the internet and using all the modern technologies. They want to lower the cost of doing that, because at the moment it's quite high cost, and the fewer sensors they can use, the better. And this will be one of the aims and objectives of having this mine beneath the School of Mining Engineering. It will be also a working type of continuous improvement objective with students involved, and the students also getting to know what sort of ventilation characteristics there are, how to measure it, and doing a lot of work in there. It becomes a sort of a living school.
Now, you mentioned keeping costs down. How much did this cost?
Well, it was amazing, when you look at it there, and, I was told initially that they had a 3 million budget for this. So I thought they were going to say, look, we spent the 3 million, we're on budget. But through some magic, they've managed to cut the expenditure to 600,000, and that is because of the goodwill around. I think all the steel structures that were placed in the stairwell were provided by Avenge, and now they're going to go for the stope. Someone is going to sponsor a genuine stope under there, and then they want these intelligent cap lamp systems, and they're working with a company that actually supplies these. So a lot of the companies, they want to get exposure to the students, get their branding up there, and they're quite prepared to give massive discounts and to do things at cost, etc. But Goldfields has actually given the university 12 million rand, and this is part of that expenditure. But Goldfields is making sure that they spend it very judiciously, watching every move, and they definitely are following that path by trying to cut costs and trying to bring other participants in. And a big announcement is coming now. I think they're going to get another 23 million from the mining education body, and I think that will take place tomorrow. So the funds are coming in, and it is now a situation of having to crystallize around what are we going to do in these mines. What is the future of this mine? Because they see the digital mine, which looks pretty exciting, as only reflecting what present technology does, and then instituting this to make mines much safer and make productivity lift, and so that extra cash flow, there can be excuse that you're saying, look, you're getting improvements here. Use some of that cash for deeper research. When I say deeper, not only are the mines going deeper, but far more intensive type of research to arrive at a radically new way of mining underground. That is their objective, and the horizon for that, is 10 to 20 years. But they feel that you must break your program into phases, and they see the digital mine as the first phase, not an end point, starting point, which takes mining out of the 18th century and tries to bring it into the 21st century, and that is the immediate task. From the benefit that you get from that in terms of cash, then take some of that cash and plow it into much more research that ends up with robotics involved and all sort of futuristic ideas that you need as you go deeper. And you do get some technologies coming out now, like the Anglo Gold Ashanti technology, which they say is the type of thing that they believe could really get traction, because it looks at what they say is the meat in the sandwich. You go for the gold, only the gold, all the time, safely. And that sort of technology they're looking for now. So they also need a common vision. They need to fall collectively behind something. And that should happen soon. Also, in terms of the institutions, there are just too many institutions now doing too many separate things in too many different places. You need to have a champion now in the center. Like we used to have COMRO, which is the Chamber of Mines Research Organization. For some reason or other, the Chamber of Mines decided to hand that over to the CSIR, and it's just, there's nothing left. There's hardly anything left. So they need now to become a world-class researcher again. They need to have a research institute, someone in the center championing this, and then bringing in all these other institutes and various initiatives that have been developed, but having strong coordination. Otherwise, there's going to be lack of there'll be poorly resourced initiatives, possibly not having a common goal. So hopefully they can do something to centralize that thrust.
Sounds like genuinely intelligent mining.
Yeah, they want to bring intelligence into mining, and using the word where you know a lot. So you can see almost on surface, on big screens on surface, you know exactly what's going on underground, because you're now internet mediated, and you've got satellite technology underground, so you can see exactly what's going on. And thereafter trying to make sure that people are taken out of the vulnerable areas. If the machines are going to do the work, they do work differently to what they're doing now. They don't want this repeated. They want something completely new. And possibly, blasting will disappear, as we saw with the Anglo Gold Ashanti. Maybe they take that meat that they're looking for, the gold or the platinum, without blasting, and do it in a different technique. But they say that unless they do this blessing that we've got, of having these kilometers of strike of magnificent ore bodies, will be lost, because as they go deeper, it becomes uneconomic. And when it's uneconomic, already you see that unless they get a windfall of a weak rand a windfall of a sudden price surge, they don't have the cash to do things, and that's dangerous.
Well, thank you very much, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Shannon.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on South Africa's mining industry.